Welcome to the Awakened Goddess Show, your source for inspiration, wisdom, and personal discovery. The place to learn from a diverse mix of mentors, metaphysical experts, spiritual leaders, and best-selling authors from around the world. I'm your host, Angela Wilkinson. Join me as I explore the minds of my masterful guests while they share powerful insights and easy-to-use tools you can start using right away. Now, let's tap into the energy of the Awakened Goddess and be enlightened by today's guest. Shakara Tosha is a multidimensional guide and creative inspirationalist who speaks and tones energetic light languages and channels star messages downloaded from various guides about ascension and living life creatively. Shakara's messages activate creative DNA via transformative light codes, encouraging co-creators to remember their true nature and re-energize life purpose. These messages are delivered via multimedia presentations, artwork, ceremonies, and personal sessions. Shakara also collaborates with artists, healers, channelers, and has been a multimedia artist all her life. Previously, she was a website producer for numerous well-known brands in New York City for many years and ran her own website business. Now let's welcome Shakara to the show. Hi, I'm Angela Wilkinson, and welcome to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show, where we co-create powerful, conscious conversations on the leading edge. Today I have a really great, wonderful woman with me, Shakara. She is joining me. I actually met Shakara through a mutual friend, Shirley Bolstock. You all know her and love her. And so I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about light language. Light language is something I have been fascinated with for several years now. And so I'm really excited to talk about it with you today, Shakara. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and to talk with you and just co-create whatever comes up.
Yes, this is like a playground. We get to just like see where the energy takes us, and so we shall begin.
Love it.
Okay, so tell me, how did you come in contact with light language? What was the catalyst? Tell me, I want it's like girlfriend chit chat.
Definitely. So all my life I've been an artist, and I've been painting and drawing galactic scripts all my life, over and over and over again, in books and drawings and dancing. And I studied multimedia performance art and a lot of different things, music and sound and just everything, a lot of different art forms. And they kind of all blended for me, but I never really understood what these scripts were. I would paint them in my paintings even when I was a little girl, and I was really perceptive early on. I was in tune with a lot of the star energies. I could see them. I would see orbs. I'd see spirits. I'd get a lot of visitors real early on. And it was just really natural to me. And I mentioned that my mom's an artist, so she just said, go for it. It's fun, experiment with it. So there was never really any shutdown in my experience of understanding what was going on. And I don't know, about 6 years ago, everybody has a different kind of a trigger of awakening. About 6 years ago, I saw the flower of life, the symbol, and a couple of their symbols, the triskelion goddess symbol and that kind of thing. And I just had this awakening. I guess it was my time, and started finding one thing after another. Long story short, I found these symbols online that were channeled in sacred ceremony by Chief Golden Light Eagle. So that's also how I met, Shirley had spoken at one of the events there. And I found the symbols. I found out that he was doing these conferences, these Star Knowledge conferences that are amazing gatherings, and just flew out west and walked in the room. I felt like I knew my family, and I just saw people from another lifetime, that kind of thing. And at one point, there was a grandmother who got on stage, and she started speaking what she called grandmother language. And I never heard about light language. I've heard, obviously, people speaking in tongues and that kind of thing. But I always kind of made up languages, made up codes, and would speak gibberish, but didn't really make sense to me. And
Yes.
after I saw her and I was immediately activated. I said, "Oh my gosh, I don't know that language, but I understand it." And then somebody else at the conference was also speaking Arcturian, which is a star language, the star people from Arcturus. And one thing after another just kind of clicked in. So about 6 months after that, I met this grandmother again, and I said, "I don't know what I want to say, but I want to say something. It's just kind of wanting to come out of me." And I spontaneously started talking for about half an hour. One language, two languages, three languages, and they all sort of just came up, and I was getting holographic pictures and just lots of different stuff. And she's very moved. She said, "You know, you've come home. You recognize the language and our conversation and that kind of thing." So little by little, I just started practicing with that, and I would do these sweat lodges with the chief and some other people, and these messages would come. The visitors would come to me in physical form, in etheric form. I feel them, I see them, and all of a sudden, about 4 years ago, they would come to me in dream time. And they would visit me when I was kind of half conscious, and sometimes I would even see them at the end of my bed, or I would see them in etheric form and physical form when I go outside. So they started telling me they're going to start downloading all this information to me, and I'm going to be teaching this and guiding people. And that time I had no idea. I was dyslexic. I didn't really read very much. I didn't talk much. And they said, "You're going to start sharing these very, very ancient ways in modern modalities or methodologies." So I started getting my little phone, at 2 o'clock in the morning, they'd wake me up at 222-333-444 on these time codes. And I download things, and it would be like 4 hours worth of bullet pointed notes every single day for the last 3.5 years, and just amassed information from probably now, I don't know, 20 plus guides. There's Arcturians, there's Sasquatch. I work with Sasquatch energies who are also star people. The Hathors, this new being that came called the divine feminine aspect of creator. It's sort of the creator seed of the feminine. And just a slew of all these different guides. And they started giving me topics of information. And they're all talking about different angles on each of these topics. There's like 150 topics now. I mean, it's mind-boggling. Wow. When I look at my notes. So they said, "Now you got to teach it and share it. You can't hold these codes inside." And they said, "Start talking the light language, and it will somehow activate something in you." So I started talking to this grandmother, this very high vibrational grandmother, and she just started naming Arcturian, Hathor, ancient Pacific. This one guide is your guide from the 66th dimension. I was like, very interesting. I can't even conceive of that. So it comes through me, and I channel this language, which I'm also now starting to tone and sing, which has a totally different vibration. And the guides that I work with are kind of architecting all of this for me. They're showing me how to share it in different courses and books and that kind of thing. But they're also showing me what it does. So they say when I speak it just stimulates some kind of dormant creative DNA, like a light language code in people. And then I can actually teach people all these modalities that I've learned, and I'm learning about how to work with your body system, about this ascension process, about all these different kind of topics that I'm working on: etheric energy, the sun, the earth, and that kind of thing, and goddess energy, which is very important, I know, for you.
Of course, yes.
And what's interesting is, so I'm starting to study more about light language, and all of a sudden, all these tribes of light language speakers and talkers and artists started collecting, and I did a little more research. I found out a lot of people spontaneously started either drawing galactic codes that they call light language or speaking light language just all of a sudden, and many of them have had some kind of ET contact in dream time, or they imagine going to a ship, or they've had, physical things happen to their body and stuff. And it's phenomenal, because what I learn, at least what my guides tell me, is that there's some kind of universal language that we all know inherently. And it is light, sound, and vibration. It comes from these essences. So That's really what makes up energy and how it moves and communicates and it's creative and that kind of thing. And then each person has their unique energy frequency signature. So you dress a certain way, you look a certain way, you have an auric field, your vibration, whatever is unique to you. There's a tone that's coming from you and a sound and an energy. So you could spontaneously speak something and I might not coherently understand it with the words and that kind of thing, from a 3D perspective or English or whatnot, but I would feel it in a certain way. So it's a very
Yes.
experiential kind of feeling. And it's incredible how many people are just like, it's like the new hot topic. All of a sudden, everybody seems to be tuned in. So I've had experiences where I'll work with clients in sessions or I'll speak at a conference or a gathering or ceremony, and people come up to me and say, I don't know anybody else that does that. That's really interesting. I do this, but I never told anybody. Or I just want to say something to you, and they just spew this beautiful energy language, and it's all different.
Okay, so that was a question I had is, because I have heard it, but I'm always like, well, do they know exactly what they're saying? Or is it, you're kind of saying it's a vibration, it's a sound frequency, it's a resonance.
Mm-hmm. Some people, it's just a feeling. It's very hard to explain. It's like trying to explain a work of art. I'm also an artist, so I think in terms of a creative visualization. And there's not a real direct translation. It's like, how do you explain the color blue? You can compare it to things and reference it, but it's not really, there's no literal explanation for it. But a lot of people will get feelings and messages, or they'll do different drawings or do dancing or something to kind of encapsulate it in a certain way. But what I've learned is it's an exchange of energy. So it's coming from the great central sun, what you might call the creator spirit, or whatever term you use for that life flow, and it works through everyone. So if we're energy forms and we're radiating something, there's some common language between all of us. So in the same way that I'm learning through, I work with the tree nations and the stone nations, and just holding these objects or touching a tree or something, I'm getting, as many of us do, get lots of downloads and information, but I'm learning how to speak the language of that being in essence. So it's sort of the same thing. So some people will do layers and layers of symbols and different kinds of script writing, and they start logging it. I also do lots of work with symbol codes. That's why I was attracted to this Lakota chief. And the symbols represent something much bigger than just the symbol itself. So they carry messages, and they show me their kind of encapsulated concepts, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So it's just very interesting how it comes out for all different people.
Wow. I'm just like swirling with all these questions because
Sure.
you just covered like so much information, and I love it because I'm like, oh, I totally resonate. And so one of the things that came to mind was you were talking about these visitations. Mm-hmm. And just recently I was thinking back to this, one of those like lucid dream states. Mm-hmm. And this was in my early 20s. And at the time, it was like when you're awake and you can't tell if it's yeah.
You're in both worlds, yeah.
Yes. And this one time, I had a guide. So at the time, my bed was on a platform. So it was like 6 feet off the ground. And I had this little guide. And as I think back about it, he was almost like a stature of a gray. The little gray. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, because I always thought it was like an Aboriginal guide. But then thinking back, I was like, ooh, maybe that was a visitation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the guides that come to me, they say they all work together. I had this experience with Sasquatch going into a cave, and they showed me this blue etheric liquid that was flowing through the stones, and they were explaining that this is sort of the blood of the earth and etheric electromagnetic energy. I mean, it's a lot of quantum mechanics and stuff that's pretty deep. But then the Arcturians, I was on a vision quest, and they were doing something with me and sort of recalibrating some energy that was also this blue ether. And they said, did you see what the Sasquatch was trying to show you? And I said, you guys know each other? And they said, yeah, we all work together. Like, an old fraternity tribe or something. And they say that all these different guides are just working on different levels, but some are in physical form. Some can actually come into this dimension, but a lot can't. So they stay in kind of etheric form. And what you mentioned about kind of being in and out of a dream state, what's interesting is that, the more and more this is happening to me, my dream states are becoming more real than the physical. I'll go outside and I'll see things physically, but I will kind of walk in and out of portals or energy, or things will start to glisten and that kind of thing, or I'll experience timeline shifts, which is all part of this ascension that I really want to share about, because, it's sort of about experiential, just how we experience the world and each other and our own energy and thought forms and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. Yeah. These guides come in lots of ways to different people. Some are physical, some are thought, some are what they call mind speak. They telepath to me, and it's all different ways. Whatever I'm finding, whatever people feel most comfortable with, it usually happens that way.
Sure. So you said this was like a very normal experience. Like it was like normalized. Your mom was like, go for it, right? But for the majority of people who may be coming in to these experiences, how did they stay out of that doubt? Like, how did they? Because we have the linear mind that wants to figure everything out, and then there's the experience. So how do we navigate that place so we can trust that it's not something we're just making up?
Well, the way that they show me that this whole ascension process is happening is that we're evolving into this higher consciousness that we've already had all our lives and all our past lives and that kind of thing. But they explain in a lot of detail to me about this matrix system that we're in 3D. So there are certain beings that are physical and star people who have deliberately kind of put a lockdown on our thinking process or on our emotions or that kind of thing, so that we can kind of channel and funnel our energy in a certain way. You know what I'm talking about, and this has a lot to do with the disclosure stuff that everybody seems to be buzzing about. But I don't really dwell on the negative aspect of that, because that has a purpose too. It has a purpose for us to kind of make a choice to align with higher energies. So all that is happening for a reason. But my understanding that even everything we've experienced, all our 3D life, is morals and values and understandings about things are behavioral systems that we have learned over time. So your parents teach you about the religion that you're sort of born into, or, where you think you are in your social structure in life, or financially, or how people view you. And then you go to school and people tell you certain things about yourself. We like this, we don't like this. And then you start to adopt all of these, attitudes and other people's visions about yourself, and create this feeling about yourself. So a lot of that comes from fear. It's passed down from generations. So fear of the other, fear of seeing something that's not there. What does that mean? How there's such a stigma around, you're going to be weird if you talk about these things. I mean, I'm really coming out of my spiritual closet in a big way.
Yes.
Now,
Yay.
because I have to, because, why not? It's the time, and all of us are starting to talk openly about all these things. So,
well, and someone has to be first.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, because that's the thing about those of us who are kind of the leaders of what we do. It's like we're paving the way, and we're normalizing for people that, this is like way off of the normal path. And that's why I love creating this space. Yeah.
Well, what's amazing is all these conferences that I speak at, or gatherings I do, people come up and they'll go, I do this too. Yeah. I've never told anybody. I didn't feel safe. It's like when I went to the Sasquatch conference, the big thing last year was, oh my God, I can actually talk about it, and then start, the freedom of a safe place where you're not going to be ridiculed or even threatened or whatever all that stuff is. That was like such a big deal. And when I go to these conferences, people come up and say, well, I've seen star people, or I do these, artworks, or something in my life is changing, or I'm having these timeline experiences. So
Yes.
so what I'm being shown is that all this is happening anyway, whether people know about it or not. So we're more aware, like they say, when we come in this life, we put a veil over our pineal gland or our third eye so that we can function in 3D and get along kind of in our day-to-day stuff. But there are higher aspects of us that are, experiencing many different worlds simultaneously. All the dimensions are here. We've been talked out of it. It's like, everybody can telepath, but you're just, you don't believe it's possible. And it has a lot to do with belief systems. Usually they say you see it and I'll believe it. That's a scientific method.
Right.
But if you believe it, you can actually see it, which is really interesting. So this stuff is happening to people more and more because, there's so many reasons for this. The electromagnetic energy in the earth is changing. The light photonics from the sun is different, all this, and then our DNA, what they call the junk DNA, all this stuff is like awakening. So this process is happening anyway. So it's probably better that people start to hear more and more about it so they can navigate it, and do something with it and not be so scared about it, because it is starting to happen more.
Yes, and it's true. And I think that's why, with the show, I take my role very seriously, that I create this space, this container where we can co-create these beautiful conversations, and I say on the leading edge. So it's like peeling away the layers and bringing out more and more of this high integrity, high vibration information, because it's like, we have so much clutter to get through.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's what they're really showing me. Is that this is just a weeding out process. So all the emotions that a lot of people are feeling right now, I'm getting waves of them. It's just old stuff being let go because this dimensional vibrational shift is happening. So I'll get a feeling and just be overwhelming. And I ask myself, is this something that's happening to me? Is it my family? Is it a past life? Where does it come from? And usually it's the release that's actually happening. But most people don't understand. They're used to, therapy and having to analyze it and, to kind of manage it. And it's not something that can really be managed that way, because it's not mental. It's really emotional and physical and spiritual. And, I just want to explain. I was in New York City for 36 years in the corporate world. Yeah. Like I said, I've always been an artist, but I was also a web producer and project manager and strategist, really pretty high level positions in various industries. I worked in the publishing industry and the financial world. I had a job there for many years. And the art world and music world and that kind of thing, and communications companies. And really, I realized I had to dabble in all of those worlds and understand it from the inside out. So I'm what people might consider pretty straightforward, normal, corporate, artsy, 3D, kind of blend it all together. And
you totally like straddle the worlds.
I wear many hats.
Yes.
So, I think that's what makes me somewhat approachable for people, because I've kind of dabbled in all that, and my choice was to leave that behind and start these messages because they were calling me a lot. So I believe that you can do this kind of spiritual ascension work wherever you are. You can be in a cubicle, you can be walking down the street, you can be out in nature with friends, by yourself. But everybody has a unique process, and everybody has to figure these things out themselves. So it's like we come in the world by ourselves and we leave by ourselves, but we're all friends and support systems and a tribe. So like all of these people are starting to find each other. When you have an awakening moment, you feel completely alone, and I absolutely understand that. And then you go, okay, what is this that I can find out? Then you pursue it a little bit more. You go online. Thank God for the internet that can connect people this way. And then you find out there are other people that are having somewhat similar experiences. So people start gathering at meetings and gatherings in the physical. And it's just so relieving to know, you're not carrying this burden by yourself, and you're not crazy and that kind of thing. So everybody's having like a very different experience, but we create our own experience. That's really the biggest message that I'm getting right
Hmm.
now, that we can control all of this because it's coming from us. So it's not like the world is outside and stuff happens to us and then we react to it. That's how we're taught. And they say it's just the opposite. It's coming from us. Everything that you see around you is a projection of your level of existence. So if you're having a really hard time or you're stuck in something, just ask yourself, why did I create that so that I could have that experience? And what else do I want to do now? I mean, it's a lot of spiritual teachers talk about this. You just shift it and then you start doing something
Yeah.
else. But that
Yes. Yeah. Easier said than done, right?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll continue this juicy conversation.
Sounds great.
Are you an Awakened Goddess Show insider? Each and every month, our members receive lots of fantastic perks, including behind-the-scenes conversations from the show, outrageously fun virtual happy hours, bonus meditations, powerful activations, and healing energy work with the guests, exclusive gifts and private readings, on-demand access to the show, plus an invite to join our private community. Visit our website today at theawakenedgoddess.com for more information. Now back to the show. Okay, so we've been talking about this ascension. So what are some signs that we're, like what would we be experiencing? Maybe like the ease and the challenge.
Definitely. So a lot of people are talking online about ascension symptoms. So things that feel normal physical pains or aches or energy levels or emotional things, but they're really caused by all the stuff that's going on simultaneously. So I found that if you're really fatigued, for example, in 3D realm, it's, you've either got some problem that has to be addressed, or you're just sleepy, or you're pushing yourself, or that kind of thing. What these guys are showing me is that in our body system, we're recalibrating so quickly. They talk about the junk DNA and all this stuff that's happening inside of us. It's being sort of realigned. It's being stimulated by all of these energy fluctuations. And we are at the same level as the earth, as Gaia, who's a being, and she's vibrating faster. So we're vibrating faster. And so there are physical effects of that. So fatigue is one thing. So sometimes I'll have an incredible amount of energy, like this huge surge of energy, and then just be totally exhausted. Mm-hmm. And before I would have been worried about it. Now these guys just say, just go lie down. Your body needs to do nothing. And you need to, move around internally or etherically or energetically. And then I wake up and I'm fine again. The other thing is just emotions, like feeling real heavy highs and lows. And now I've come to recognize that's what that is. And as soon as I feel kind of blah or icky or something, I just go, okay, just let it pass. And it immediately passes, or it takes a little bit of time, but I don't get into the meaning of it or think about it too much. Don't
get attached to the story or the drama or actually add drama to it.
That's exactly what this is about, because this is all mental. Yeah. You could say, well, this stuff sounds great, but how can I do it? That's all mental. It's a feeling. So they're showing me how to move from your mind to your heart space. So right now we're in a heartfelt conversation. It's just, there's a connection there. And when you're vibrating at that level, things start to sort of open up a little bit more and become easier. So things that were a challenge before, in the older 3D ways, like manifesting something, like I want to go to school, or I want a new job, or I want a new partner, I'm going to do these steps. It's very linear. Mm-hmm. And what's happening now is if you visualize it like it's actually happening, because of the changes in our timeline and just the energy all over, it happens. The manifestation happens really quickly. You'll think, oh, I want to meet somebody, and you'll go out and you'll cross paths with a friend that knows somebody, and that kind of thing. And those connections are all there. So the universe and all your guides, everybody has guides, and that they may be conscious of or not, but there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes to get us in our right place, in our right mind, in our heart, to make these things happen. But one or two other...
let me pause you just for a second, because Yes, totally on this visualizing piece, because I have this thing I walk people through. It's called the Envision Experience. And when I was first creating this, I create a movie of someone embodying their future self
That's
in the
it.
now moment, right? And when
Yep.
I was creating this product, right, I had to do this process myself over and over and over again. And afterwards, I literally felt like my brain had done like yoga or
Mhm.
gymnastics, and I could not tell which reality was this 3D reality. And then, like within, so 24 hours later, less than 24 hours later, I had a new like high level client.
Mhm.
And then a week later, I was introduced to producers in Montreal, that was what I was working on manifesting. Because and so it's like,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
quickly, right.
yeah.
Because what they show me is you're aligning with your true purpose. So we come in with a mission or a skill set, so you like communicating with people, you like moving energy around, you like putting things together. I can tell you like
Yeah.
color and a lot of this kind of thing. I talk with my hands a lot. So.
Yeah.
And and I like to dance and art and that kind of thing. And so we come in with some kind of a skill set that we're really good at. It's like on our resume, good at this, do more of this. And we also come in with things that we enjoy. So there's a kind of combination of these star guides are telling me this is the first time in the history of existence where we come in with a more aware mission, whatever our mission is to do. And that could be just doing nothing. Some people, their job energetically here in this life is just to sit and smile. And they radiate so much energy that people walking by them are completely changed. It's just really about keeping your vibration high and happy.
Yes.
And that's really, really, really it. It's not heavy work. It's not heavy lifting. So this idea also about work, I got to go to work. I got to work hard, play hard. It's not about that at all, because that's a stigma and a burden and all that stuff.
Yes. I'm still letting go of that junk DNA.
It's junk stuff. I know we all are, because we're still living in this world. So there's a way to vibrate and function in 3D. We've got responsibilities and kids and partnerships and a house, whatever you're dealing with, and at the same time, this whole thing is shifting. So what you just talked about, manifesting into the future, it's my understanding that your mind is supposed to originally be in service to your heart. So your mind is the logical thing in your body system that kind of makes sense of things and makes things happen. So if you say, like any mantra, or like sports players will repeat things over and over again, slogans or mantras or
Just
sayings
do
or
it.
something. Just do it. Just do it. Exactly. They end up talking their mind into believing it to the point where they just move into that space.
Yes.
So if you're visualizing something so much, but doing it from an emotional perspective, how does it feel? I want a new house. Like, what does the smell like? And it's less about decorating, for example. It's more about how is my experience in that house, and how am I being?
Yes.
And
Well,
and
I could literally, like in my mind's eye, walk down the aisle of my studio. I could see the plushness of the chairs. I could feel the red velour seats.
absolutely.
I could, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
it's
And
very
then,
tactile,
yes,
right? It's very
yes,
sensual, and it's
hmm
feeling oriented and emotional, and what it
yes,
makes you feel like. And the
yeah,
thing is, what I'm learning about these timelines now is that, you're born, you're at a certain age, you're having these experiences, you go on a journey, nothing happens by accident. When you start
no,
to get a little bit older and look back on your life and you see these patterns, you're like, why did I have that, live in that place, or have that job, or have that friend? And then you're like, oh, that makes
yeah,
total sense, because I learned something there, or it moved me over here or something. But these timelines are completely flexible, right? So we get so stuck in, I'm my social security number, I'm my bank account,
mm,
I look this way, I'm just stuck. And it's not true at all. You can actually, they're showing me, you can, when you shape or reshape the way that you think about something, it actually goes back in the past and reformats that, because this
yes,
is all one big experiment and game anyway. It really is. So why don't we have fun with it? And I find when that happens, when I believe that those things are happening, everything just, problematic things that may have happened in the past just dissolve or they disappear, or somebody will call and say, wow, really just want to, make this connection with you. And it's incredible. It's all
Hmm.
malleable. Time is malleable, experience is malleable. So it's just
Yeah.
really fun.
Well, yeah, I invite people, those that are watching and listening, to play with that. Like,
Yeah.
imagine and play with shifting the past. Like, I was just doing that this morning. There's a process that a friend taught me about, like an old story collector, where it kind of goes through you imagine your timeline, and you get like a feeling or a situation that brings up like negative feelings or whatever, and you kind of go through your timeline and pluck all of those similar situations out, and then it kind of clears it. You dump it
Yeah.
in the trash, and whoosh, there it
Yeah.
goes.
Absolutely. Well, we have to
Yeah.
clear it all the time. Just like, when you're doing meditation, you're clearing your mind of extraneous thoughts. And if you're taking a shower, you're clearing your body so you can function better or exercise or whatever. It's like a spiritual exercise. And, throughout time, we build up all this stuff. This is what the Egyptians and ancient mystery schools were doing, was basically just keeping the channel open. So
Mm.
what they're showing me is physical bodies in our physical form. It's actually really an honor to be here in physical form, because there are a lot of star beings and elementals that can't come in this form. So we've sort of done something really, really good in the past to be able to be allowed. It's not allowing, but have a choice to be here in physical form and work with this. And my understanding is the reason that we're having this human experience is a couple things. It's really to master your emotions. So that doesn't mean in any way don't feel anything. It means feel things so broadly, but you're not affected by them. So it's
Hmm.
not the world happening outside to you. It's sort of like, oh, I feel compassion for this person, but I understand there's this Arcturian law of free will that I learned, which is basically you can't project anything onto people, but you need to respect yourself and respect the other person. So just as an example, if you have a conflict with somebody comes and they yell at you for whatever reason, they're happy or they're frustrated with you or themselves or whatever, at that moment when you don't get engaged in it emotionally, and just look at them and say, thank you very much for that message. You know, thank you very much. I know you're having a bad day. Can I get you some tea? You separate the energy so you don't take it on and they don't project it on you, because they really can't unless you agree to it. It's an agreement.
Yes. Yes.
And you can
Yeah.
actually help them heal by giving it back to them and creating a nice space around that for the person to understand what to do next with their life. So that
Hmm.
happens all the time in any kind of these energy exchanges, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's a great way of energetically holding your boundaries and creating that
Right,
space for yourself. Okay,
right.
so I cannot wait any longer. I've been patient long enough. I feel like the energy is just like, come on, Angela, we got to get to the light language. So
I know. Well, these guys are like, speak.
I know. I've been feeling that for like the last 15 minutes. So we're gonna, yes, please share, start speaking, channeling light language. And I would love if you would kind of, also, I know you probably have a message you want to start with, but also I would love to experience different light languages, because you said you
Absolutely.
can speak different ones, and I would love
Sure.
to get a little
Sure.
sample.
Sure. So I just want to explain really quickly is right now I feel these guides kind of around me, beside me, and kind of they walk in and out of my energy field. So I'm completely conscious. Some people like Edgar Casey would lie down and go to sleep and then wouldn't remember anything. Some people will channel and close their eyes. Like Bashar and all these other people that are channeling in different ways. And for me, my experience is I'm completely conscious. So I can look at you with my eyes open or closed. When you receive this energy, because it's this light language, kind of like packets of information or, light, sound, vibration. Sometimes I find if I ask people to close their eyes, they can receive it a little bit better, but it's fine to be completely aware and conscious. And I'll feel them kind of come in, and the voice changes, so I can kind of recognize them that way. And as
Hmm,
I'm speaking, I'll see holographic pictures. So sometimes, there's
cool.
things that are really specific that they're wanting me to share with your audience because of who your audience is and that vibration that it holds. But I mean, I can sort of freestyle.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I'm singing and toning this light language too, which I'd like to do. And somebody
Sure.
said, you're scatting light language. I'll spend hours and hours walking around the house cleaning and scatting and toning light language. It's really, really easier for me sometimes than English. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, so
So
how about we do this? How about you start with your message and then we'll take a quick break and then we'll do more light language. How about that?
sounds great. Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a message for everyone that's listening. And if this is also a replay, the same energy comes through. So it's just, it's timeless. Okay. So this is an activation and they give me funny words, a signifier that you're in the right place that you need to be right now in your life. Shunta kailua kai no shinte, nu sa kailua kai tuashin inamanawa kai no shinde, nu sakine moa kakoela kai tuashan, no suka koela kine, nisiku no sakaman moa la kai no shin, no sinmena loraka, nu sha kai tuasane, nisiki moa kakoela kai no shinda, sukalawa kaite, isema moa kakoela ki tuashane. Si kinawa shante to semi molaka. Ni sinwala more stette to sani si to wala kaitua sham more kakoi quistin and walakine. Iseme more kakoistine unta kailawa kainoa shanda wola kaitua shinne. Osakinin watine. So that was the message that came through.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't feel anything. Some people feel buzzing in their bodies. Some people go places. And it's really, really fun because I'm totally conscious, but I'm feeling this whole thing come through me. It's quite cool.
Yeah. So do you have like a loose translation like of any like human
Who, what,
words
where?
or whatever?
So this is
it's just to give us a little framework.
Sure. So a lot of times these guides have been coming in threes. So there was a Hathor from Egypt, this being that works with sound and Venusian energy and love, and Isis and that whole lineage. And there was this one I call the divine feminine aspect of creator. It's just an energy source that's about feminine energy and the balance of masculine and feminine. And there was this other one that seems to appear from time to time that I've been told is the sister, actually the twin sister of what we call Jesus. It's I learned from this chief and a couple of people that Jesus, or Emmanuel, as they're called with a J, as he's called, had a twin sister named Emanuela, and she was sort of the counterbalance of the masculine and feminine. And it's kind of like a Magdalene, but it was his family lineage. And when I feel them come, they kind of all work together. It's very interesting. They're sort of giving me pictures about just basically, especially to your group of high vibrating people that are tuned in with you because of who you are. They're basically saying that, everything is fine, that this is all in right timing. There are things that are going to be happening in the world that you may not understand cognitively or with your mind, but it's all fine. Nothing is happening out of sync. That this message is that seeing lots of different pictures that we're starting to see systems breaking down, financial system, religious systems, body systems, more and more people getting sick and that kind of thing. And this is part of the process of this re-emergence of this energy. So they just say, we're in for a big ride. And the most important thing is just to find your center. This is how you ground yourself. So whatever you need to do, take a beautiful salt bath, meditate, just stay in your center. And this is a very ancient teaching they're telling me of it's like chi, martial arts. Whenever you're studying martial arts, the energy exists all over. How you use it or don't use it or work with it or move with it is really, really what it's about right now. So they're saying that the your body is kind of like a tube. There's a prana tube in your body where you can actually breathe in energy. There are 50,000 people or so, I read some statement, that are breatharians, that live on air, that don't even eat, that are
Yeah.
existing in the world right now. I mean, these
Wow.
things that I'm hearing about are incredible. So there's a
Yeah.
way that you can actually breathe in the light from the sun, breathe in the earth, and function that way. But it's really just about staying in your center and raising your vibration, that kind of thing, so that when things are happening, you'll understand why. You'll get an understanding, and you'll be fine, because this is part of this cleansing process that we talked about. But it's not bad. It's not scary, and it has such a beautiful, beautiful purpose. And they're showing me
Yes.
pictures to kind of, so I've been telepathing a lot, which is really interesting. I'll go in a store and I'll talk to children, and they give me mind images, or we'll have these ongoing conversations, which are pretty cool. And
Oh,
and so
fun.
I'm sort of telepathing to your audience that they'll know exactly what to do when they trust themselves. And this is all
Yes.
about unplugging from looking for answers outside. So you don't need a teacher, you don't need a guru. You can take classes or tune in, like people do with your show, to get inspiration and understanding. But what you do with it, like you said with your meditations and when you did that vision, it comes from you, and it only makes sense for you. So all this stuff exists, and it's really what we want to do with it is really up to us. But it's a very open road right now. So
Yes.
that was a
Yeah.
little bit of the message I got.
Lovely. Yes. So I kind of was imagining this like a reed, like you're grounded, and then you kind of just go with the flow.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it is all purposeful, like you say, and yeah, all this drama and chaos can look just like a awful thing, but it is like the cleansing and detoxing, and yes, when we
Yeah.
can just be with
Yeah.
it and look beyond the like the smoke and mirrors.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is what this balance of the feminine is, that's coming back in the world right now. It's not that women rule again, and men and women have this same dynamic inside of them. It's really about the fluidity of water and intuition, and knowing where to go, knowing what your body's telling you, listening to yourself. If you're tired, sleep. If you want to talk to someone, talk to someone. If you want to make a gesture or do something else. And the more and more you do that, you get recalibrated to
Hmm.
yourself. But it's this flow, this water flow, that is really quite powerful and elegant at the same time, that we need it to, however we're talking, being, or doing whatever we're doing, is really understanding that is actually happening in our bodies, and also in the world, and
Yes.
how to really tune in with that now. So
Yes. Ooh, I'm just like being in that energy and just seeing the divine connections when you're in that flow, like water, and it just
absolutely.
all flows together.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's really easy, you
yeah.
know.
But I know all this stuff, right? And then there are situations where I'm like, I keep pushing past my, I feel like I want to lay down. I keep pushing because I just want to get it done. Or
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
I,
Those
we're
are
all
those are
human.
we are, but that's how we're taught.
Hmm.
We have to have that structure, and then otherwise things aren't valued. You haven't done
Yes.
really well unless you've done all this work and stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning and to do this and do this, and that's really not why we're here. But this idea of this matrix system is basically we're stimulated from every angle possible. Spraying
Hmm.
on the food, stuff in the sky, the music
Yeah.
that we listen to when you walk into a store, it's all programming to
Yes.
keep us entrained in work, do, be, go, house, this. And when you start to unplug, I mean, it what they're showing me is when you get back on the lunar system, the moon calendar, for example, it's the divine number of 13, 13 moons, 13 cycles, 13. It's the magic number that works outside of a calendar system.
Hmm.
So, when we book our time, like I have, gatherings and meetings and clients and schedules and stuff, but I try to go in and do that, just like go on the internet and then you pull out, and
Yes.
you can work that system around your lifestyle versus making that control you or allowing that to control you. And you have more, I mean, you've done it obviously with your own work, and I'm doing it now with mine, but whether you're in a job, for your audience members, whether you're in a job or not, doesn't really matter. You don't have to all start your own business, but it's really about creating a structure that supports a natural flow of your life or what you're interested in.
Yes.
The biggest thing they say is figure out what you're interested in, just do that. I listen. I don't listen to too many spiritual speakers now, because I get very influenced by that, and also, that's their system. So
Right.
what I'm sharing is these are things I've learned that work for me, so that you can learn something that works for you. We're all kind of stimulating each other. But this one person said the idea of success, or the real achievement of success, is doing what you want to do when you need to do it and having what you want to have to get the job done. So if you need to travel or want to travel, the abundance is there, the people are there, the money is there, the energy is there. And one thing I want to mention that might be helpful as a tool or an understanding is, when we talk about money, money is also a system. Money is made from trees. It's actually tree energy and elemental energy. But money is a device or a tool to control things in a certain way. You have to have this much. Somebody decides how much value is in something you buy or something you use. And the star people don't understand anything 3D. They don't understand partners. They don't understand depression. They don't understand a cubicle. They don't understand money. They don't understand sleep or objects or that kind of thing. And so if you want to work with these energies, which everyone can, I mean, they're all around. Some of them are your ancestors. Some of them are you in a past lifetime. Some of them are beings that kind of come out as helpers. I think of them as like a consulting team. I'm kind of trying to do this. Can you help show me and open the door a little bit? And they say that if you use the word abundance, I need abundance, or I require abundance to get something done, or energy, abundance and energy, things will start to flow differently because you're unplugging yourself from, I need money, or I need to manifest things, or I'm going to get rich. That's something outside of you. But this energy flows through you. You've got it in you all the time. And this creative, this feminine aspect of the creator gives me this understanding that we're all aspects of creation. We all have the creative seed inside of us. We can manifest pretty much anything we wish. And when we tune in with others and tune in with the world and are really, really centered, you're actually tapping into that source of existence, creativity, energy, and that kind of thing. And you can use it, you can work with it. So what you're talking about when you do meditations and you go, that's one way to travel. You are actually traveling in another dimension when you're doing that. If you close your eyes, if you're in the shower and you close your eyes and you feel the water on you, you're taken to another dimensional consciousness. But we just don't understand that. We haven't been taught that. But it's all around all the time. So it's a lot of fun things you can do with that.
Yes. Ooh. I love how, seeing how we can kind of hack the manifestation system. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So let's take another quick break, and then we come back. We will keep going. Have you created vision boards, listened to meditations, and read books on how the law of attraction works, yet you're still not where you want to be? The key to manifesting is focusing your attention on your big dreams consistently, fully embodying the feeling as if it's already happening. And that's why I created the Envision Experience, a revolutionary and simple 28-day process for powerful quantum-level dream manifesting. So if this sounds interesting to you, I'd love for you to join us. You can find out more at theawakenedgoddess.com/envision-experience. Now back to the show. Oh my gosh, I am having so much fun with this. I mean, talking with you, Shakara, is just like, this is just excites me to the bone. Okay, so it's time for you to do some.
There you go. See, you're speaking.
I know, right? It's coming out of me already. Yeah, so we already talked about you going through a few different light languages.
Sure.
So I think this would be a great time to do that.
Okay. So a lot of different guides. There may be Sasquatch energy, Arcturian energy, Isis kind of energy. So I'll just say whatever comes through.
Yeah.
And what I mentioned to you also before is that it's really less about the words. It's more about the feeling. So it's an energy activation. And then I'll just tone something shortly that I've been starting to do, which is pretty cool. So
yeah,
okay.
cool.
Here goes.
Here
Here's
we
a
go.
message for everybody. Okay.
Yes. Sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, if you want to close your eyes, it's really great to receive it that way too. Shunda mo la kai to shine na wa sine nu sa kai mo shan ta ta wa sine nu la ka nu shu kai tai nu wa shan ta ta wa sin ke ke wa kai te ni si mu ka la wa kai to shine to san nu wa kai to nu sa ki nu la ki nu wa shin te Sinema delva na kainu wa shanto butu wa tanu wa sam mo kako la kitu wa shinna no da ba ta ni simena mo kako tu jishin wa sana na ko de wa shan no su ka mo kako la kitu wa shinte tu system na kai no su kitu wa shan mo kako la kitu wa shinte tu sinema mo ba la kitu wa shinte ni su ke kitu wa mo ka kitu wa shinte顺他开你是莫了开拓什么莫可过，你为了看你的心，你为了什么嘛？莫扩出心呢？so 莫可过了开拓心，是过了开拓心呢？我三莫可过了开拓心，多什么？我是คิดตัวสันนะ so 莫可过了开拓啥？我苏可คิด了开诺是你是莫可过了开拓啥？你是可偷偷想偷偷什么呢？我的 kid 我讲莫可是说莫可来就是什么啥？你是可莫你这个ตัว你是可你这莫可来看，这是什么的可呢？Like they're all like trying to talk to me at once. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
There were a couple. There was a fairy there. There was a Sasquatch, a little tree, little Arcturian. So they're all.
Oh, my little folks. They know I'm
folks.
short,
yeah.
so I love the little ones.
Yeah. Well, a lot of these big beings have to squish into tiny bodies to come into this world. So they may appear very little in our realm, but they're huge, like 40 feet, 50 feet. And they all shapeshift. The, Sasquatch are little balls of light sometimes and that kind of thing. So, yeah. So I just actually... That was just a message for everyone. Kind of, they were all kind of greeting you and welcoming you and helping you remember a little bit who you are, what you're doing here, how you related to all of them, and how you have all of your guides that you're working with, and you can start to tap into a little bit more. So I just wanted to tone one thing very shortly, if I have time. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I just started toning, and this is kind of a healing toning energy that kind of comes through, and we'll see what happens. The voices change all the time. It's very interesting.
Yes, and this is my show, so we're gonna bend time. So
okay,
it all.
Okay, it'll be a short share. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the toning message that's coming through. Shuntiki ai Nosiku lama tusiki noshi nomikitia nosiki minosaka nolitimaku.
Gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Energized. So
yeah. Cool. You're a woman of many talents. Oh my goodness. Well, Shakara, I would love for you to do like a bonus, if we can do a bonus for members, but because we're running out of time right now. Yes. But you have a gift for members, so tell us about that.
So I have a gift I'd like to share. It's a PDF ebook version of some of the writings that I've done, some samples of some of the writings, and basically just a lot of different messages that I've gotten from different guides. It's sort of a starter sampler that I'd love to share. And you can get some information and understanding that way. And I'd also like to offer some deep discount light language sessions. So I do phone and Skype sessions, and also on Facebook if you prefer. And these are more than half off for your listeners as an incentive to just try it out and see how it goes. Half an hour sessions, but both of them are more than half price discount. So I'd love to offer that to your audience.
Thank you. That's so generous. Yeah, so if you want to get more of this awesome light language and play with Shakara more, definitely become a member. So you can do that at Patreon/Awakened Goddess TV. And you can check out the different levels. So, oh goodness.
I know. Time flies, but we're out of time, literally. So
I know. So thank you so much for joining me today. And guys, like I said, if you want more of this, we're gonna do some bonus light language after this, and that'll be part of the silver membership. So join us. Yeah. So, but thank you so much. This was like, it was just such a treat. And I mean, I am feeling so energized and like hot and bothered.
Good. I just want to thank you for all the work that you do to really bring these messages and understanding of all the guests that you have. You really provide an incredible service for people. And you're so warm and approachable. Just lovely. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I received that.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show. I hope you enjoyed today's guest and got something you can start using in your life right away. For more spiritual insights and to listen to more episodes, subscribe to The Awakened Goddess Show at theawakenedgoddess.com and discover wisdom that'll change your life.